My ex has a love child and begged, "Please don't tell my husband." I said, "Too late." When she found out I'd already sent him the DNA test and timeline proving the baby wasn't his, the secret exploded. I, 31 male, got a call from my ex-girlfriend Melissa 2 weeks ago that turned into the wildest karma situation I've ever witnessed. We dated for 3 years, broke up 4 years ago when she cheated on me with her coworker. Classic story. I found texts, confronted her, she cried but admitted she'd fallen in love with him. I moved on. She married the guy Derek 2 years later. I hadn't spoken to her since our breakup until she called me out of nowhere at 11 p.m. on a Thursday. "Please, I need to see you. It's an emergency." "Melissa? What the hell? It's been 4 years. I know. Please, can we meet tomorrow?" "Coffee?" Against my better judgment, I agreed. Curiosity, mostly. Next day she shows up looking exhausted. Designer bag. Wedding ring with a rock the size of a grape, but bags under her eyes like she hadn't slept in weeks. "I need your help," she started. "That's rich. With what?" She pulled out her phone, showed me a photo of a baby, maybe 8 months old. Cute kid, curly dark hair. "This is Aiden, he's yours." I actually laughed. "No, he's not. The timeline matches. I was still sleeping with you when—" "Melissa, stop. First of all, that would make him over 3 years old, not 8 months. Second, you're married. To Derek. The guy you left me for." Her face went red. "I mean, I had an affair, while married, with someone who looked like you. And now Derek thinks the baby is his, but I did the math and—" "Hold up, you're telling me you cheated on your husband, had a baby, and now you want me to—" "What exactly?" "I need you to take a DNA test." "Why? To prove you're not the father." "I'm obviously not the father. We haven't been together in 4 years. That's when she broke down. The real story came out. She'd had an affair with her personal trainer, Garrett. Got pregnant, told Derek the baby was his, but Garrett had recently started demanding to see his son and threatening to tell Derek everything if she didn't let him be involved. "So you want me to take a DNA test to show Garrett that he might not be the father? To create doubt?" "Yes. If there's multiple possible fathers, he won't be so confident, he might back off." The entitlement was staggering. "You want me to help you cover up your affair? Please. Derek will divorce me. I'll lose everything. The house, the cars, my whole life." "That's called consequences, Melissa." She grabbed my hand. "I know I hurt you, but we loved each other once. Please don't let my life fall apart." I pulled my hand away. "I'll think about it." She left looking hopeful. But here's what she didn't know. I'd been recording our entire conversation on my phone. Legal in my state for my own protection. That night, I did some digging. Found Derek on LinkedIn. Investment banker, seemed successful. His Facebook was private, but his Instagram wasn't. Lots of photos with the baby, captions about my mini-me and blessed to be a dad. The guy was clearly in love with that kid. I found Garrett too. Personal trainer at a high-end gym. His Instagram was full of thirst traps and motivational quotes. No mention of any baby. I sat on it for 3 days. Then Melissa started texting. "Have you decided? Please, I'm desperate. Garrett is getting more aggressive. I'll pay you." That last one pissed me off. She thought she could buy my help in deceiving her husband. So I made a decision. I messaged Derek on Instagram from a throwaway account. "Your wife asked me to take a DNA test to help her hide that your baby isn't yours. You should get tested. Check the attached recording." I sent him the entire cafe conversation. Then I messaged Garrett. "Melissa is trying to get multiple men to take DNA tests to create doubt about Aiden's paternity. You might want to establish your rights legally before she muddles the waters." Then I blocked Melissa's number and waited. The explosion was immediate. Update 1. Holy shit, did things escalate quickly. Derek had contacted me through Instagram asking if we could talk. I agreed and gave him my number. The man was destroyed, but calm. "Is this recording real?" he asked. 100%. She asked me to meet her, told me this whole story about needing my help. "Why would you send this to me? You could have just ignored it." "Because 4 years ago, I was you. Nobody told me she was cheating until after I found out myself. I wish someone had given me a heads up." He was quiet for a moment. "The timeline. When did she say the affair was?" I told him what she'd said about Garrett. He asked me to send him the recording directly, which I did. Meanwhile, Melissa had figured out I'd blocked her and started losing her mind. She couldn't text me, but she could email. And boy did she email. First came the anger. "You ruined my life, you vindictive asshole." Then the bargaining. "Please talk to Derek, tell him you were lying, I'll give you $50,000. Then the threats. "I know where you work. I'll tell them you're harassing me." I forwarded all of these to Derek. Turns out Derek had immediately gotten a DNA test after our call. Rushed it at a private lab. Results would be in by end of week. He'd also hired a PI to look into Garrett and Melissa's relationship. But here's where it gets really interesting. Garrett had also received my message and had already filed for a paternity test through the courts. Apparently, he'd been documenting everything for months. Texts from Melissa, photos of them together during the affair window, even had receipts from hotels. Derek called me again. The PI found something. This isn't her first affair. There were at least 2 others during our marriage. Jesus. Yeah, my lawyer says with the recording you made and everything else, I'm gonna be fine in the divorce. Thank you. But Melissa wasn't done. She showed up at my apartment building. Security wouldn't let her up, but she waited in the lobby for 3 hours until I came home from work. "You destroyed everything," she screamed the moment she saw me. "You destroyed everything when you decided to cheat. Multiple times, apparently." "That's not. How did you?" "Your husband's PI is very good. She tried to block me from getting to the elevator. You need to fix this. Tell Derek you lied. Move or I'm calling the cops. I'll tell everyone what you did. I'll ruin your reputation." "Tell everyone what? That you asked me to help cover up your affair and I refused?" "Please do." Security finally intervened and escorted her out, but she wasn't done. Update 2. The DNA results came back. Derek was not the father, Garrett was. Derek sent me a simple text. "Test confirmed what we suspected. Thank you again." But Melissa went nuclear. She started a campaign to destroy my life, but not through social media like you'd expect. No, she was smarter than that. She called my employer claiming I was stalking her. Thankfully, I'd already given HR a heads up about a situation with an unstable ex and provided them with the security footage of her waiting in my building's lobby. They took my side. She then tried to get creative. She contacted my current girlfriend, we'd been dating for about a year, with a fake story about how I was obsessed with Melissa and had been trying to break up her marriage for years. My girlfriend, Raina, called me immediately. "Your ex just DM'd me some crazy shit." I showed her everything. The recording, the emails, the security footage. Raina's response? She screenshotted Melissa's messages and replied, "He already showed me everything. You're pathetic. Also, your baby daddy is posting about filing for custody on Instagram right now. Maybe focus on that." Because yes, Garrett had gone public. Full scorched earth. Posted the DNA results on his Instagram with a caption about fighting for my son that was hidden from me. Derek had filed for divorce and, because of the affair and fraud, claiming the baby was his, was going for everything. The house was his from before the marriage. The cars were in his name. Melissa was about to lose it all. That's when her parents got involved. I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was her father, Robert. "I'm calling to ask you to stop this destruction of my daughter's life." "Sir, with all due respect, I didn't destroy anything. I told the truth to a man who deserved to know it." She made a mistake. Multiple mistakes. Multiple affairs, and then tried to drag me into it. She's going to lose custody of Aiden. That's between her, Derek, and Garrett. You could have just said no and walked away. I did say no. She wouldn't accept it. She showed up at my home. She tried to get me fired. She contacted my girlfriend. Silence. Then, she did what? Apparently, Melissa hadn't told Daddy the whole story. I forwarded him the emails and security footage. He called back an hour later. I apologize. I didn't know the extent of her actions. We'll handle this internally." Update 3. The divorce proceedings were moving fast. Derek's lawyer had everything lined up perfectly. But Melissa made one last desperate play. She claimed Derek had been abusive, said that's why she sought comfort in other men. It was a Hail Mary, but it meant Derek had to defend himself. Derek's lawyer reached out to me. "Would you be willing to testify about your relationship with Melissa? What would you need? Just the truth. How she was during your relationship, the cheating, her patterns." I agreed. Not out of spite, but because lies about abuse are serious and Derek didn't deserve that. The deposition was interesting. Melissa's lawyer tried to paint me as bitter, but I stayed calm and factual. When asked why I recorded our conversation, I simply said, because when an ex contacts you after 4 years asking for a suspicious favor, protecting yourself legally seems smart. When asked about abuse during our relationship, I was honest. Melissa was never abused. She was actually quite controlling. She had full access to my phone while keeping hers locked. She isolated me from female friends. When I caught her cheating, she tried to gaslight me into thinking I was imagining things until I showed her the evidence. Her lawyer tried a different angle. Isn't it true you wanted revenge for her leaving you? No. I've been in a happy relationship for over a year. I hadn't thought about Melissa in years until she called me. I simply wasn't willing to help her defraud 2 men and a child. Meanwhile, Garrett's custody case was building. He'd hired a family lawyer and was going for joint custody. His argument was solid. Melissa had deliberately hidden his child from him and committed paternity fraud. But here's where Melissa really screwed herself. She tried to flee with the baby. Her plan was amateur hour. She bought a plane ticket to her cousin's place in another state using a credit card. Derek's PI was monitoring. She was stopped at the airport. Attempting to take the child across state lines during an active custody dispute, that's attempted parental kidnapping. She was arrested, spent a night in jail before her parents bailed her out, but the damage was done. The judge in the custody case was not amused. Final update. It's been 3 months since that first phone call from Melissa. Here's where everyone ended up. Derek got his divorce. Melissa got nothing except her personal belongings and debt from her shopping habits. The prenup she'd signed, which she'd forgotten about in her panic, was ironclad. Adultery clause meant she forfeited any claim to alimony. Garrett got joint custody of Aiden. The attempted kidnapping actually worked in his favor. He has the baby 4 days a week and is, by all accounts, a devoted dad. Posted a photo last week of them at a park with the caption, "Making up for lost time." Good for him, honestly. Melissa moved back in with her parents. Last I heard through the grapevine, she's working at her mom's boutique and has to pay child support to Garrett since he has majority custody and she earns more than him. She tried one more time to contact me through a mutual acquaintance from years ago. The message was, "I hope you're happy. You ruined my life over petty revenge." I had the mutual respond, "He said to tell you that you ruined your own life. He just refused to help you hide it." As for me, Raina and I are doing great. The whole situation actually brought us closer. She saw how I handled extreme pressure and manipulation without losing my cool. Derek even sent me a bottle of expensive whiskey with a note, "For having the courage to do what was right." Do I feel bad for Melissa? Not really. She made choice after choice after choice. Cheating on me, cheating on Derek, lying about the baby's paternity, trying to drag me into her web of lies, attempting to destroy my life when I wouldn't comply, trying to kidnap a baby to avoid consequences. At every turn, she could have chosen honesty. Instead, she chose manipulation, and when that failed, destruction. The saddest part? That baby has to grow up with this as his origin story. But at least he has a dad who fought to be in his life and will hopefully have a stable household 60% of the time. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's just refusing to be complicit in someone else's lies. The truth has a way of creating its own justice. Melissa wanted me to help her keep her house of cards standing. Instead, I just stepped back and let it fall. And honestly, that felt better than any revenge I could have planned.